5 News at Noon starts now.
Right now at noon, we're looking at new video from the Sallisaw Hospital that catches the moments part of its roof ripped apart during yesterday's storms. And we're taking a live look in Dallas, where state and federal agencies are investigating a deadly shooting at an ICE facility. What we're learning about that investigation. We begin at noon with that breaking news out of Dallas, Texas, where law enforcement say a gunman shot 3 detainees inside an ICE facility before taking his own life. We'll take another live look at that scene where Dallas police and the FBI are investigating right now. CBS's Bradley Blackburn shares what we know in the investigation.
A motorist on Interstate 35 in Texas captured the massive emergency response after a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence.
Police say the gunman opened fire from the roof of a nearby building.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
The facility was the target of a bomb threat last month. That suspect was detained.
The rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees.
ATF and FBI agents are assisting police in this investigation. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
This is the third recent attack at an immigration center in Texas. A police officer was shot at an immigration detention center near Dallas on July 4th, and another officer was hurt during a shooting at a Border Patrol facility in McAllen a few days later. Well, happening right now, students at Poto's primary and upper elementary schools have the day off after heavy rain and strong winds from Tuesday's storms knocked out water service there. The city says floodwater and debris compromised the main water line. This impacts pre-K through 4th grade. The district says they expect to be back in class tomorrow. Poto Middle School, High School, and SEC are all in class today. We'll take a look at this new surveillance video from Northeastern Health System in Sallisaw. This is during Tuesday's storm. You can see the moment the storm hit the hospital and ripped off the roof. Some patients had to be evacuated. Thankfully, no one was injured, though. The latest update from the hospital says inpatient services have been impacted, but the ER, lab, and radiology are all up and running again. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi has been in Sallisaw all morning showing us that damage. He breaks down some more of that surveillance video after talking with hospital leaders.
The director of operations right here at the Northeastern Health System says in total, it was about 15 seconds that caused the damage that you see right here in Sallisaw. Surveillance video shared with 5 News by the hospital captures the dramatic moments a powerful storm tore the roof off the south wing Tuesday afternoon. Hospital Director of Operations Eric Carter says nearly 40% of the building was damaged in the storm. Emergency crews worked through the night, discharging most patients and transferring others to nearby facilities. Despite the extent of the damage, the emergency room, lab, CT, and X-ray were back online by late Tuesday, as repair crews immediately began the work of rebuilding. Carter says no one was hurt and that the outpouring of community support has been strong.
It was a lot of work last night, very little sleep last night, but we have a great team. Just all the community support and all the outreach of all the outlying areas. We've had people all over the state call, all senators, representatives stopped by last night. Just thanks for all the community support.
Carter says that while most of the operations here at the hospital are functioning, Pafford EMS will be on site to help in case of any emergencies. In Sallisaw, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
All right, thanks, Jacob. And right now I'm here with our newest 5 News meteorologist, Noah Simmons. Welcome to the Noon, Noah.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Morgan.
We're glad to have you. We'll be seeing Noah on our weekend evening newscast and also often with me at noon and 4 several days a week. So we're very happy to have you. Now, today's weather, not quite as active as yesterday's, though.
Yeah, yesterday's was pretty packed. Luckily, we didn't have any tornado warnings in the viewing area, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, I mean, pretty much wherever you were, you had some of those severe thunderstorm warnings, and some spots actually got kind of hot out there yesterday. It was kind of taking a look at some of our observed highs. This was yesterday, so we're not talking current temperatures right now. Otherwise, we'd be sweating a lot in the River Valley right now. But chances are you're probably sweating yesterday because temperatures got up to 93 in Sallisaw, 93 in Fort Smith, even 88 in Paris, 90 in Waldron. And where you didn't get as much sunshine yesterday, you were definitely a lot cooler, from Fayetteville to Huntsville, upper 70s, and Look at Rogers, only hit a high of 73 yesterday. So quite the difference in our temperatures that we saw yesterday. And taking a look outside, we're still seeing some of the cloud cover and some of that lower clouds out there with some of that drizzle and light rain showers out there from 73 in Fayetteville to 75 degrees in Ozark. And we're still hanging on to those stubborn clouds. I think we're going to be hanging on to a lot of that cloud cover throughout the majority of your Wednesday, and we're not really going to see some sunshine until tomorrow. So today we're still going to be dodging some of those scattered showers that I'll talk about here in just several more minutes, but overall it's going to be a lot cooler than what we saw yesterday. Overall in the River Valley, expect temperatures close to that 80-degree mark, and then those temperatures into those lower and middle 70s, and I'll have a look at what we could expect the rest of this week in just a bit.
All right, thank you so much, Noah. Well, 2 people are facing murder charges in connection with an 11-year cold case in Delaware County, Oklahoma. The OSBI says a tip in July led to charges against James Larson Jr. and Penny Larson. In March 2014, Dustin Carver was reported missing and last seen with James and another man. That man then told investigators that James accused the victim of raping Penny. An affidavit says he also told investigators he then saw Penny cleaning up blood on the floor. Court documents show James was already in a Missouri jail on unrelated charges and told his cellmate about killing a man in Oklahoma and burning his body. The breakthrough in this case led to both being charged with first-degree murder. And we're learning more about policy failures that led to Grant Hardin's escape this summer. At the latest legislative meeting, Arkansas State Police released a 900-page report on the escape investigation. Investigators say a staff meeting was held before the escape, reversing the policy that let inmates out on the back dock without supervision. But 3 supervisors who were at that meeting claim that change was never actually shared with them. ASP's Mike McNeil says there's still confusion over whether that verbal directive was ever clearly communicated to the kitchen supervisors.
But the investigation shows that the verbal directive, if it was given approximately a month prior to the escape. And there was no action taken by the administration to formally change the policy regarding inmate supervision on the back dock. So that was concerning.
Food prep supervisor Justin Duvall and corporate William Walker were fired after reportedly violating policy, which led to Hardin's escape. Well, late-night host Jimmy Kimmel returned to TV after a nearly week-long suspension over controversial comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. But some ABC affiliates refused to air his show. Jimmy Kimmel's comeback was met with chants and a standing ovation as he returned to the late-night stage in Los Angeles. In his monologue, Kimmel addressed the controversy directly, saying he never intended to make light of the murder of Charlie Kirk. He took aim at critics and praised supporters from both political parties who defended his right to free speech. Despite his return, dozens of ABC affiliates, including Sinclair and Nexstar, refused to air the show. Kimmel also fired back at FCC Chairman Brendan Carr over threats to investigate ABC, calling it a violation of the First Amendment.
This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
Just before the show aired, former President Trump criticized ABC online, calling the decision to bring Kimmel back fake news and threatened legal action against the network. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the United Nations General Assembly this morning after meeting with President Trump Tuesday. President Trump now says he thinks Ukraine can win back all territory lost to Russia, a dramatic shift from what he said in recent months. Natalie Brand has details from the White House.
Weapons decide who survives.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appealed for additional support from allies to help end Russia's war on his country as he addressed the UN General Assembly.
We must use everything we have together to force the aggressor to stop. And only then do we have a real chance that this arms race will not end in catastrophe for all of us.
Thank you for this meeting.
The remarks come less than 24 hours after Zelensky sat down with President Trump on the sidelines of the forum. After the meeting, President Trump appeared to make a major shift, posting on social media, "I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form." Trump went on to say Russia and President Vladimir Putin are in big economic trouble. This is the time for Ukraine to act.
It could be that Russia is a paper tiger.
President Trump reiterated his new position during a meeting Tuesday with French President Emmanuel Macron.
Let them get their land back.
Yep.
So we'll see how it all works out.
President Trump had previously said Ukraine would have to be open to giving up territory to reach a peace deal with Russia. But since then, he's grown increasingly frustrated with Putin as ceasefire negotiations have stalled.
In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs.
President Trump also urged European countries to stop buying Russian oil. The president of the European Commission said the EU wants to meet that goal before 2027. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Kremlin fired back this morning, indicating there was no alternative for Russia other than to continue its offensive in Ukraine. Well, Super Typhoon Ragasa slammed into parts of Asia overnight, bringing hurricane-force winds, torrential rain, and a deadly storm surge. In Hong Kong, the powerful cyclone sent waves crashing into the city. In Taiwan, flooding from overflowing dams killed more than a dozen people and washed away bridges. And in southern China, nearly 2 million people were forced to evacuate low-lying areas as the storm made landfall. It's now weakened, but it's being called the strongest storm on Earth this year. Experts say climate change is fueling more powerful storms like this around the world.